Hey, my name is David Ramos.
And I'm Webley.
Today we're going to be showing takedowns and counters to the takedown. We're also going to work some things on top and some things on bottom. We're going to also talk about how to stand up and how to break people down. So I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so now we're going to go over the high crouch. So we need to get in good wrestling stance. See how he's set up. I need him to get one of his legs forward so I can attack. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use an arm drag. I'm going to take his arm, throw it across, grab with the other one, and throw this. I'm going to take a penetration shot with my right. So I'm going to take my shot, I'm going to come in here. When I'm in here, I want around his calf, and I want my head right in his ribs, pushing out that way, the way I'm going to drive. Okay? So then I'm going to reach across this other one, get below the knee, and I'm going to just drive straight over that way. So just like this, follow him down. Okay? So the key points is a good setup, it's a good penetration step, heading the side, and then just drive over as I go underneath the knees. So full speed here is what we get. Okay? So that's the high crouch.
Alright, now we're going to demonstrate the counter to the high crotch. Suppose your opponent gets in deep on a high crotch. At this point, your main line of defense is the sprawl. Put pressure on the head, pushing down as much as possible at the same time, sprawling out, and keeping that leg straight locked so that he can't keep a good grip on it. At this point, you want to reach around, grab the butt, wiggle your hips away, and then spin. Key points here is that you got to pressure the head down, and you got to sprawl out and wiggle the hips away. So I'm going to show this, what it'll look like in full speed. He gets in deep, you sprawl out, reach around, and spin. Takedown that I'm going to be showing now is called the outside sweep single. Get yourself in good stance, and then by doing a great setup, which I like to do a circle, bring your opponent around. When he does, he commits with one leg forward. You take a deep penetration step, close to his, reach around the ankle, plant the hand, drop the knee to the mat. From this point, I can reach with this hand, keeping my head tight to his ribs, and then by bumping into him and lifting up, I can bring the leg under both arms, underhook, and then finish and I like to do the treetop and follow him to the mat. Key point to doing this move right is getting yourself a good setup, a deep penetration step with your head tight in the ribs. When you lift his leg, you need to keep it tight and out here so that it's extended and keeping him off balance. Now I'll show it once in full speed. That's the outside sweep single.
Okay, so now we're going to go over the counter to the sweep single. So Stace is in on his shot. He's in deep. First thing I want to do is stuff the head, not on his neck, but on the top of his head to be able to push it down easier and make it harder for him to keep his head up. This is a key point. I want to stuff his head, and I want to take this leg and sprawl out, kicking it behind me. Next, I want to take my near arm. I want to take this, reach under his arm, and go for my thigh. And lock in a whizzer, this is called a whizzer, keeping it tight to be able to keep more head pressure until I get his arm out and then go behind my 2 points. Okay? So the key points is the head pressure and getting that whizzer in good so you can scoot your hips out, get that leg behind, and go behind. So full motion, here it is. Behind it. Okay? And that's the counter to the sweep single. Okay, so we're going to go over how to break somebody down from rest position. So, you're on top. You take your right hand, you put it over your opponent's belly button. You take your right leg, you put it right behind his butt. Take your left arm, and you put your hand right over your opponent's elbow, right above it. And so, what you're going to do is when the ref blows his whistle, you're going to take your left arm, you're going to chop his arm out, like this. Okay? When he's leaning forward, what you're going to do is you're going to take your leg right behind his butt and shove it forward so that he goes forward and breaks down. Okay? So the key points is chopping the arm out and pushing forward with your leg into his butt. So this is what it looks like when you're you do your full motion. So, take, chop out, and shove the knee in the butt. Okay? That's how you break somebody down.
Okay, from here on bottom, referee's position, I want to show what's called the stand-up. This is a move that you want to do immediately off the whistle, since his initial move will be to break you down. Right off the whistle, you want to reach your hand high to the sky on the one that he's covering, and at the same time bringing up your knee, like so. From here, you pressure back, because if you're leaning too far forward, he'll bring you back down to the mat. But by pressuring back and him pressuring into you, you're able to stand up fairly easy. And then in this spot, you break the hands and turn it into your opponent, and you get your 1 point escape. This is what we call the stand-up. Key point here is to clear the arm though, because if you don't clear the arm, he can easily break you down. So off the whistle here, stand up, break the hands, and turn it into him. Okay, pinning combination that I want to show is what we call a cross-face cradle. When your opponent's broken down to the mat, you cross-face, grabbing underneath the arm and then straightening yours. From here, you plant the arm, your other hand, between his legs, coming off to the side, and then driving his head to his knee. Right here, you're really close to be able to lock hands, and then your goal is to get him on his back. So you want to put your knee in his back to force him over, and then as he comes back in, and then you settle in by putting your knee in the side and the head on his head. Okay, so this is some of the key points here in this move is for sure that you get a good cross face and pull that arm under, because having this type of control allows you to bring his head to his knee a lot easier. And then locking up, knee in the back, and forcing him over.
So right now, what we're gonna go over right now is called the half Nelson. It's another move from on top, another pinning move. So you've broken him down, you reach in to get a one-on-one, you grab his hand, and he's gonna try to square it out because he's getting nervous. As his hand comes out, you're able to shoot across quickly. So go reach for the other side of his head, and you're gonna bring your hips out, and you're gonna start turning. You keep your arm around his waist, you want to keep that tight waist, and you want to sink this in deep, and as you do, you're always trying to maintain that chest on chest, so that it's easier for him to just roll over and stay there. Okay? So the key points is you want to make sure you grab that hand, and as soon as he lifts his hand up, you shoot right over, and you keep this hand here tight around his waist, so that when you do put him over, it's harder for him to breathe. Okay? So here we go. Hand is coming in, I come over, I got my hand around his waist tight, I'm locking this in deep, and then I'm making sure my chest is on his chest, and then we go on his shoulders.
So I want to show an escape to the leg ride. When you're both down and he's throwing in a leg, first thing you want to do is grab by the toes, keeping your elbow in his shin, and with your other hand on the heel. By elevating it up, it provides discomfort to your opponent, and then you want to pull it out, bring it underneath both of your legs, reaching through with your other arm and pulling on it, and then you take your free hand, post on his knee, and elevate that, pushing back into him, and then turning with your hip heist, and then turning into your opponent, like so. Key points here is providing the discomfort so that he doesn't want to keep that leg in anymore. So by grabbing the toe and keeping that elbow in the shin and elevating, you provide that discomfort, and then reach through, post on the knee, pressure back, and then hip heist. That's a great way to get out of the leg ride.
So what we're going to go over right now is called a hip tilt, also known as a cheek tilt, because it's a good, quick way to get some points. So he's down, we're in referee's position, hand over the belly button, leg up, and hand over on top of the elbow. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our left leg and put it right on top of his. Let it rest there. And we're going to chop and come. As we chop, we're reaching in with this one and we're grabbing the wrist and we're pulling it to the other side of his hip, right across, kind of like a seatbelt. And to make sure we have good control, we're going to take our left hand and grab his elbow. So now that we've got a good tight waist, and we've got his leg, my leg on his leg, I'm going to roll over to this side, and I'm going to keep this leg up. And as he's trying to fight out with my leg up, I'm able to make sure he doesn't just go right over. And with this tight waist, I have control of his body. I can try to control his legs a little by raising his head, but I want to keep this other leg close to him. Okay? So, key points is you want the leg good up on his other leg. When you come across, you want to make sure it's tight, and you want to make sure you have good position, and you've got a lot of pressure on it. And then when you roll, you keep this other one up here nice and tight to you, and you're holding down on him, and you can lift with this leg, and he is flailing, trying to, but I'm getting my point here. So that is a hip tilt.
Okay, in this short video, we've showed some takedowns, counter to the takedowns, breakdowns, and some pinning combinations. We hope that you've been able to learn something, and we wish you luck in your match.